Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jade, and I can't take myself seriously. Desperately trying to do a rip-off of Becca, because I'm ripping off Becca completely, so... I told her I was going to totally parody her video, but I'm not, because I'm not that bad. But I am doing a low-budget rip-off of Becca's Bookopoly, so if you have not seen Becca's Bookopoly for any what reason, I will link it down below and I will give her full credit for the idea. I'm not doing a Bookopoly, but I am doing a board game and ripping her off in that respect. So, without further ado, let's expose you to TBR Pursuit. This has been in the making for a little while. When Becca's Bookopoly kicked off and, you know, there was a little bit of tea, but I won't go into it. I told her I was going to rip her off and not give her any credit. So I'm following through with that, but I am giving her full credit. Anyway, so yeah, this is TBR Pursuit. I hope you like it. It's freaking huge. How do you do this, Becca? Like, is your board just really small? There you go. I made a Trivial Pursuit board, named it TBR Pursuit, and this is how we are going to be picking my October TBR. This is coloured in highlighter, stuck together with tape, has my hair all over it, is really low budget, so I'm delivering on everything that I promised to deliver on. This is a low budget ripoff. Do you like my highlighters? Because it's all highlighter. But yes, this is the board. I can't even show you this properly. So this is my board, TBR Pursuit, colour-coded as Trivial Pursuit should be, and I have all my little topics here. So each colour represents a topic, but they're obviously topics that are a bit more specific to me. So we have greens for middle grades, purples for adult fantasy, yellow for science fiction, and pink for YA fantasy. Blues are then blanks, so they are not genre specific, they are more general. And then orange is other, for other genres that don't fit into the ones I've set, which I don't have many of, and will probably be the colour I try to avoid the most. Because although I do own a couple of contemporaries, maybe a couple of magical realisms, they're not my dominant genres, but if they're not on here in some respect, I'll never get around to them. So if I have no choice but to land on an orange, then there we are, but generally speaking, I will probably try and avoid those. So yeah, as you know, Trivial Pursuit is more of a trivia game, so how am I going to turn this into trivia? I'm not really. I'm morphing the question element of it into questions about the books on my shelves, so rather than a true or false answer or a right or wrong answer, the questions are very much, can you find a book of said topic that is over 300 pages? Or can you find a book of said topic with a really pretty illustrated cover? Or so on and so forth. Like, it's not a right or wrong, but more of a can you find or name a book of blah blah blah. I hope that makes sense. It will probably make more sense as we go, but I don't think it's that complicated. In terms of the questions, I have my little question cards here. Obviously each card has a question for every colour, so you know how that generally works. I don't have very many question cards. I currently only have 10, but I would like to ask you to suggest questions to build more question cards. So if you have any... Hello? If you have any suggestions for questions to pop onto the cards, please do drop them down below because I want to build the stack, because as I say, I currently only have 10 of them. I'm on the floor, which is why I'm shrinking. I'm trying to sit on my feet, but my feet hurt. But I'm on the floor because it just makes more sense to have the board on the floor and be on the floor. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything that needs explaining about it. You know what the colours are, you know how the question cards work, so the only thing left really to do is start playing. So without further rambling, let's crack on with roll number 1. Okay, so I have my piece, I have my dice, and I have my cards over there. So it is time for roll 1 of TBR Pursuit. 3. So from the middle I can pretty much go anywhere, but I think I want to kick this off with a pink for YA fantasy, and fingers crossed I get a good one. So the first card for pink YA fantasy is What Book Do You Know Nothing About? Right, let's pop a little pink slice in there. And what book do I know nothing about? So for roll number 1, I got pink YA fantasy. What book do you know nothing about? And for this, I'm going with The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. This came in the Fairy Loot that I unboxed when I was pretty drunk. Tipsy, drunk, somewhere on that spectrum. I remember being excited about it. I remember something about a kick-ass lady, but otherwise I have very little idea about what this book is about or how it relates to birds. Give them fire, give them fear. Sounds like it's gonna be kick-ass, and I tend to enjoy Fairy Loot books, so fingers crossed I enjoy this one. But otherwise, I have very little knowledge on what this is about, so really, a YA fantasy that I know nothing about fits this perfectly. Okay, let's go for roll 2. 4. Which way do I want to go? Roll again, or 1, 2, 3, 4 for blanks? I want to go for a blank because they're exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for a blank, I have wildcard. Wildcard is anything, so I could pick literally anything, any genre, anything I fancy for wildcard. So that's fantastic. Let's put a little blue pie in there. So for roll number 2, I got a blue, which is a blank, but then I got a wild card. Now there is a wild card in every colour, so there is always the chance of pulling a wild card, but wild card pretty much means ignore the rules, pick whatever you want, any genre, anything. Forget the rules, just pick a book that you want to read. And for that I have gone with A Conjuring of Light by Victoria Schwab. Hopefully I will have the collector's edition by then, which comes out in October, but I'm pre-filming this, so don't have it yet. But me and Gavin will be buddy reading A Conjuring of Light in October, so I need to fit it in there somewhere, and whilst I have a wild card, I'm gonna throw it in. It is a reread for me, so if reread comes up later, then I'll have to reread something else. But yes, A Conjuring of Light by Victoria Schwab. Obviously we all know this is the last book of the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I love it, so I'm very excited to read this again. But yeah, there is my wild card. Okay, let's go for roll 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could go for Orange Other, which I kind of want to avoid. 1, 2, 3, 4, or Purple Adult Fantasy. I'm gonna go for Purple Adult Fantasy. 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be a bad choice depending on what the card gives me, but let's find out. Purple Adult Fantasy. What book are you looking forward to? Right, let's see what I'm looking forward to from all of my adult fantasies. And of course, put a little purple slice in there as well. So roll number 3 took me to Purple Adult Fantasy, and my question is, what book am I looking forward to? And I have been looking forward to this one for a while and have not had the excuse to read it, so I'm finally giving myself the excuse to read Night's Shadow by Sebastien de Castell. I am so excited for this. Desperately looking forward to it. This is the second book of the Great Coats series, which is Sebastien de Castell's adult series, hence adult fantasy. You knew that. But the first book follows Falcio after the Great Coats have fallen and the king has died, and he's trying to perform the king's final wish for him, but there's so much politics going on, so much going down in this world, and everything does not run as smoothly as he would hope, but you know, twists and turns. Great little friendship group in here as well, and great motivation. I love it. I love Sebastien de Castell's writing, so again, just being thrown into that. It's very sarcastic and witty writing style. I really mesh with it, so I cannot wait to read the second book of that series. I really want to dive back into it, and now I get to. So hooray. There is the adult fantasy I'm desperately looking forward to. Right, time for roll 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yellow science fiction or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow science fiction. Either way, I've got yellow science fiction. And I have got what book contains another species? I don't have one off the top of my head. I'll have to consult. And of course, a yellow slice in there. Roll number 4 took me to science fiction, and my question is, what book contains another species? I have had to think about this, because I don't know. When I wrote the question, I didn't think about the fact that I don't think most of the science fiction I have actually contains other species. It's still very human-based. But there is one that I need to read or finish, and that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I tried to read this a while ago, but it was just too slow for me. But it's very character-driven. There are a lot of different species in this. I couldn't tell you what it's about because I can't remember. Rosemary Harper joins the crew of the Wayfarer. Oh, and the Wayfarer punches holes in space, I think. But she's got a secret, like she's running from her past life or something. I can't remember. But yeah, I never finished this, and it definitely contains other species. So it's the only book I could think of to fit this prompt, and I need to read it, really. So yeah, I'll be giving this a second chance in October. Time for roll 5. 2, so I can go for orange, other, or pink YA fantasy. I think I want a pink YA fantasy again. 1, 2. Oh, don't want that to fall out. And the card. What book is really hyped? I have one for this already. And we will pop another pink slice in there. So for roll number 5, I managed to snag myself another YA fantasy, and my question there is, what book is really hyped? And I'm kind of riding that the series is hyped rather than this book specifically, but it is the Grishaverse, because obviously me and Becca are buddy reading the Grishaverse, and the next book in that would be Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo, because this does come before King of Scars, which I don't own yet, and we want to read them all, and I own it, so you know, there we go. I don't know if this book itself has a lot of hype, but the series as a whole definitely does, so I'm having it, and it's my game, so my rules. Shh. But yeah, we'll be buddy reading this. I think this is like a series of fairy tales from the world, so yeah, should be interesting, and it's got cool illustrations in it, so even better. So yeah, I'm gonna have that for my other YA fantasy. Roll 6. 2. So yellow, science fiction, or green, middle grade. I'm gonna go for green because I love a middle grade. So 1, 2. And what will it give me? What sequel do you need to read? Perfect. I have so many middle grade sequels I need to read. So we finish our pie with a little green middle grade. And roll number 6, our final roll, took us to middle grade. Huzzah! And my question is, what sequel do you need to read? And easy peasy, Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. So the second Schwab I'm squeezing into this month. This is the sequel to City of Ghosts, which is Schwab's middle grade. This is the sequel to that. Follows Cassidy Blake, who was a young girl who had a near-death experience as a child, and can now step between the worlds of the living and the dead and pull back the veil to see ghosts, and her best friend is a ghost. And in this one, I believe she's going to Paris. In the first one, they were in Edinburgh. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I am surprised I haven't already read it at this point. But yeah, very, very excited to do so. So yeah, I am looking forward to this immensely. So this is my stack of TBR Pursuit picks, my October TBR books, or October TBR Pursuit, I think I will call it. This is the result of my October TBR Pursuit. I'm kind of excited about it. I mean, there's a couple that I'm a bit But, you know, these are all books I own, all books I need to read, and maybe the fact that I've turned my TBR into a game will encourage me to finally get to some of those. So, hooray! It's just started raining. That's fun. So, yeah, there's that. That's the game. Hopefully I will read them all. I will keep my little pie on my shelf with these so I can, like, track my pie as I go. But yeah, I'm pleased with how this has gone. I hope you have enjoyed. As I say, if you have any questions for the question cards, please drop them down below because I would love to build the stack up. I hope you've enjoyed. I think 6 books is a solid amount for a game for me. If I then end up reading more, I'll just read by choice. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope you are as well. Becca, thanks for letting me steal your ideas. Even though it's not a Monopoly, it's a Pursuit, but you know, board games as TBRs is your thing, so thanks for letting me rip you off completely. As I say, if you don't know Becca's Bookopoly, what you're doing, go and check that out. She is fabulous as a person, as a creator, as a human being. Love you, Becca. Thank you. I'm excited about this, so I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you very much for watching. I will keep you updated with how the pursuit goes in the vlogs, so catch you in those, and I will see you next time. Bye!